What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark from MacMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and today I'm going to talk about Good One. This movie was submitted for my consideration this year and previously had premiered at the 2024 Sundance Film Festival. Director Anya Donaldson has been named in some first feature uh, categories this award season, and for good reason, because this is a good one. All puns intended. All really awful puns intended. Uh, this it's an interesting little film, and I wish it had had audio description. It does not have audio description, or at least it wasn't presented to me with audio description. I should say that because most screeners are not presented to me with audio description. Um, but it's it's a film about a daughter that goes on a camping trip with her father and her father's best friend. The father's best friend's son was also supposed to go along, but then dipped at the last minute. So she's just going along with the two of them. And it's sort of this interesting story. She watches these two guys, two middle-aged men, sort of, their problems and it's a little bit of a character study, I guess you could say. It feels like maybe uh, sometimes we have films that feel like a filmmaker is bringing something from their past experience and transforming it onto film. It feels like it could be that too. I don't know India. I don't know India like that. We don't we don't text, but it also feels like it could be um, a self-reflection on a moment in time from her life, much the same way like After Sun felt for a couple years ago. So, this one has maybe a little bit more humor in it. This dad, James LaGrosse, definitely feels a little bit more like a little bit of an oafish person, whereas Paul Mescal's person felt broken. James just plays his in a little bit of a different fashion. So um, I like the movie. The movie's very interesting because it plays one way. It plays one way until a certain point, and then oftentimes we talk about like the rise and fall of a movie and like where that is. And a lot of films follow very a typical three-act structure in terms of the rise and fall of action. This one actually has sort of the rise and fall near the end, because what it does is it places something toward the end of the film that then has you reflect on everything that you've seen thus far. It would actually make for a very interesting second watch because you would want to see how everything was building to this moment. I don't want to ruin the moment, but there's a moment you'll know when you get to it, because it feels like um, all the air has left the room. You're just like, what? What? Um, and I definitely, like, my jaw was like, what? What the what? Excuse me? Um, and it reflects so much on these characters, and it sort of reflects back on things that this girl's gone through throughout the course of the trip. It's not like a horror movie. It's very much played like a very typical indie drama. It's just that there's a shoe drop that happens, and that has a reverberation effect, but not even so much towards the end of the film, although it will definitely change your vibe for the film going forward. But it actually then causes you to reverberate backward and reflect upon, like, wait a minute, were we always headed this way and I just wasn't like paying attention? Was this where we were headed the whole time? So definitely a very interesting first feature from Indiana Donaldson. So um I it's not really getting enough attention, it probably should, but it is a very quiet indie film, and it doesn't have a major star in it. If this had a major star in it, like, there's no difference here between this and The Outrun in terms of its quietness and indie nature. The problem is The Outrun has, like, Saoirse Ronan. So, if this was Saoirse Ronan out there with 2 grown men on a camping trip, you would have heard about this movie. Like, but because it's James LeGros and we have, like, a discovery in the young actress, Lilia, something, um, because of that, it feels like it's an even smaller movie. Like, it's a secret, like, it's a best kept secret that you just haven't heard of. I really liked Good One. Unfortunately, it doesn't have accessibility or audio description, and there are plenty of times where where there isn't any dialogue, and I'm not really sure what's happening. So I wasn't able to connect all the dots, and especially considering I would say, I don't know if backweaving is a word, the so I like, you, you know, the woven effect, uh, sort of interestingly goes backward, from the moment, and and you're like, it makes you think about like, wait a minute, let's take a step back, let's look at this again. Um, it's kind of like the thing that I would like to watch a second time, um, but I can't because I know that I wouldn't necessarily pick up on all the nuance because of the lack of audio description. It's a film I would watch again at some point if I ever found it somewhere with audio description. But the only other film this year that really hit me like that was Cadu Lake, and that was because the twist is so. That one's more of a twist. This is just more of a shoe drop moment. The twist on that one was just such a big swing that I needed to see whether or not it worked. I needed to see whether or not it worked because the movie bored me, but the twist was good. So I was like, wait a minute, hold on. Did I sit through this whole movie for this weird, excellent twist? Is the twist excellent, or I don't know? So I saw that movie twice. But it had audio description, so it was a lot more accessible for me to go back through once I knew what everything was and see the craftsmanship of the directors, which wasn't much. It still was slow with a twist here. I'd love to really explore India's building, how she lays out everything, and see was it there all the time. But anyway, my floating grade for Good One, uh, I'm gonna say is probably a B plus, could be an A minus, could be a B, somewhere around in there. It's a very strong first feature, and my official grade though is unwatchable due to lack of audio description. There's just too many moments where there's no dialogue and I have no idea what's going on. Um, so very small cast, very small film. If you're excited and you like independent film, support it by watching this. This is pretty indie. This is as indie as you can get. This is very Sundancey. So this is more Sundancey than sending some of the films that go to Sundance. I mean, like, yeah, it's cool to see a Jesse Eisenberg directed film with Karen Culkin at Sundance, but you know that film's gonna be fine. This one really benefits from getting the kind of vibes out of Sundance because it doesn't really have the kind of built-in momentum that would carry it forward naturally. So, um, yeah, that's it. So, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the other side.